Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to start out with a 16 by 20 canvas. This already has my version of liquid white, which is a little bit of titanium white mixed with linseed oil. So we're going to take our 1-inch brush and go in some phthalo blue and just get a little bit. We're going to start with the sky. Do crisscross strokes. And as it mixes with the liquid white, it gets lighter. So that's all right. We do want it to be lighter down here. And just get our 2-inch brush, and now we're going to blend this in. We'll start with the bottom. We will keep it light and just running in circles. This will actually help smooth it really nice and blend it. Of course, we want the corners darker and the top darker. This will help draw your eye into the center. I use the 1-inch brush because it's easier to control where you put the paint. When you use the 2-inch brush, at least for me, sometimes you put too much paint on there. So the 2-inch brush does work really well for blending. So I use it for that. I see all these light spots versus the dark spots. It gives it more of a realistic effect. And it makes it simple. So now we're going to go into some Prussian Blue, which is a little darker than phthalo blue. And we're going to do the edges here, and this is going to be for the water. So we're just going to bring it in. And again, you want the sides to be darker than the middle. Now we're going to blend it, so we're going to bring it in towards the center, and it's going to mix with the liquid white and lighten up. So we don't want this to be dark. This way it kind of looks like sun reflection on the water. Just blend this really softly. The 2-inch brush works really well with this. And these lines here actually kind of make it look like water ripples. Real easy water effect. Okay, now it's time for some clouds. So we're going to go into some titanium white with a 1-inch brush. Just tap it. That way you get it in the bristles really well. And then wherever you want your clouds to be, start tapping them in. Think about clouds when you do this. And now you could go back to the 2-inch brush, and with the corner of the brush, just blend in the bottom. Leave the top where it's at for now, and we'll get that here in a moment. Just blend that out nice and smooth. Get some more titanium white, add some more clouds, do another layer. Clouds always look good with multiple layers. Big ones in there. Now let's get some over here. 2-inch brush, just blend the bottom again. Real easy clouds. Okay. Just tapping it helps it blend a little bit better. With a nice dry 2-inch brush, just lightly swoop up. Barely touch it. Okay, now we're going to mix some violet with a little Van Dyke brown. Get a nice dark color here. Mix it up really good. And we're using a palette knife. Alright, so you want this consistency, you can make it a little bit more violet. Makes it a little darker. There we go. Now we're just going to scrape off just a little. We're going to make a mountain. So we're going to start right where we want this mountain to be. Wherever you want it to be. Just put it in. Start making a mountain shape. Scrape the canvas hard because you want this to dig into the grain of the canvas. Just taper it off down this way. Little peek up through here. So scrape off any excess. And then go into your 2-inch brush and tap. So run this down the way the mountain would slope. So if you want this bigger peak in front of this smaller one, run it down in front of it. If you want it the other way, bring it down this way. So let's see. Let's say we want this smaller peak in front of this one. So let's start with this one and tap it down. I want it to be more misty down here on the bottom. And then we'll take this one, just bring it through. So this little guy now looks like it's in front of the big one. Brush up. Now we're going to mix up some colors for the mountain. So we want to take some white, and to make a little shadow, we're going to mix it with a little blue. And that's a phthalo blue. We're also going to take a little of the titanium white and mix it with this brownish violet color that we had. Mix it with a little bit more brown. So we'll start with the titanium white. Just run it nice and smooth, and grab just a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and take it and just barely touch the canvas with it. And you want it to break up like that. Gives it a nice snowy effect, but if you press too hard, you won't get that effect. White. Let's go right here. One of the best ways to get snow-covered mountains. Makes it nice and easy. Sometimes it takes a little practice, but it is a really cool effect. Hit this peak right here. Let's try this, the smaller part of the knife. This one we want in front. So now with the darker color, we want to go ahead and get the other side. This is for shadow, so we'll run it right through here. Same thing, just barely touch the canvas. Back and forth, so there's a little more white. So we'll put a nice peak right in front. Now we could go to that blue and add a little bit more color. And take your 2-inch brush and just tap. This way it gives it a misty effect at the bottom of the base of the mountains. I'm going to take this blue that we use for the shadow for the mountain and make it a little darker. Add a little yellow to it. Right about there. Make it a little darker, or a little lighter. There we go. Okay. So now with your fan brush, this is actually a number 2 fan brush. Just going to dip it in here. Just dip the edge of it. Don't go ahead and get it all full of paint. It's a lot more controllable when you do this. Okay. And make it flat. And in the background here, we're going to put some trees. So let's go up. And we want these to be real light. So just go up and down. We want deviations of height. Since these are way in the background, they won't have a whole lot of detail, so you don't want to add a whole lot. Makes it look like they're further back. All the way through here. Lots of little trees. All we're doing is tapping. Makes it really easy. With your 2-inch brush, tap it. Blending out the bottom. And you're trying to keep some more of the original detail up here at the top, but this will blend down here. And then you could just swoop up. Very lightly. Wipe off your brush. And again, these are in the background, so you don't want a whole lot of detail. You do want to try to keep it straight up and down. So I'm just barely touching the canvas, pretty much with just the corner of the brush. Okay. bottom part. Now we want to take some black, and this is lamp black. We want some darker trees in the front. It brings them closer. So let's take some of this phthalo blue and mix it with the lamp black. Grab a little bit of the titanium white. Make this all nice and smooth. Spread it out flat. Grab your fan brush again. Just dip in just the tip. So we just want to get the tip covered. We don't want the whole thing covered because it makes it harder to control. Just press it in like that. Now we're going to put a row of trees in front of these trees. But see this white space here, or the misty part? We want to try to keep that. So we can put some in front, some not, but yeah. So anyway, we'll start right here and we'll go up. Paint. And just push them down. Go all the way to the end. So we want this part down here on the bottom to be darker. There we go. Now I'll just take this and bring it down. Lightly across. Okay, so I want to blend these out a little bit, so I'm just going to take the 2-inch brush and lightly brush up. This is my distant tree technique. So I'm just trying to blend them out a little bit better. So I'm just kind of taking the corner of the brush and flicking it up. Just blends them. to add a little more, just take a small fan brush, or any fan brush, and just spread out the bristles, and then just take this, and at the bottom of the base of the trees we're going to just go ahead and brush up. And it makes it look like a whole bunch of tree trunks. You have a whole bunch of distant trees back there. But it also adds another layer, which gives your painting more depth. It's kind of cool. Easy technique to actually do some fun stuff. I'm going to make this bluer. I thought I would like the way it was, but this is one of those things where you can change it all you want. Oil paint actually is really flexible. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. This is phthalo blue, so I want this water to be a little bit richer. So I'm adding it with the 1-inch brush because it's easier to control. Put it exactly where I want. So just tapping into the phthalo blue, not getting a whole lot, and then we'll just take it from the edges and again brush it in. So what this is doing is it's helping add more color, which makes it more vibrant, but it also, if I leave this whiter, it actually will help for contrast as well. Typically the higher contrast, or dark to light, the more your painting will pop. So a lot of high quality TVs have what they refer to as HDR, which is really dark blacks and really bright whites. And those are pretty popular right now with the 4K TVs. People will be watching this in a few months and how electronics change. It'll be 16K. Okay. And again with the 2-inch brush, to just lightly blend. So now, with some phthalo blue and the fan brush, we're going to work on a reflection for the water. So we want this to be dark. We'll just go underneath the trees here and tap. And try to duplicate what you have on top. So if you have taller trees, you want taller trees down here. Shorter areas, not so much. Just tap this in. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It all washes out. Now with your 2-inch brush, grab and pull down. And you want to try to pull down straight. Sometimes working with the camera, you're not in front of the canvas like normal. Alright. So now we want to blend it out. So with a cleaner brush, wipe off all the excess. Just want to lightly go across. So right here is going to be really bright. I'm going to start with that first. You just want to lightly go over it so it blurs it out. Okay. Now with the 1-inch brush, to do a little bit more of an effect, grab some of the liquid white, and where you want a few extra highlights, which is usually right in the middle, just lightly put some of this on here. And again, carefully grab and drop it down. And then blend. Instant water. Okay, so with a mixture of the original liquid white that we use for the canvas, we're just going to grab a little and put it on a knife, just a little bit, and then we're going to take it and rub it across the bottom here to add a water line. So you don't want to add a whole lot, just cutting it in there. Makes it look like you have little waves in the background. And if you put on too much and you want to get some of that off, because it's oil paint, it's not dry, so you can actually rub it and it makes it less intense. Actually helps you if you want to go ahead and tweak some of it too. Makes it easy. We want easy. Easy's good. We want easy and fun. So let's do easy and fun. Now here, let's go ahead and add a little bit more reflection. So we're just going to take a small little area and run it across some of these reflections so it actually makes it look multi-dimensional. And you don't want to overdo this either. But again, you want to you want it to go straight across. These reflections going straight across, if you make them go down, it makes the water look like it's going down. So I think we're good there. Now we're going to take our 1-inch brush and take some of the dark color, and we're going to go ahead and add some land. So let's see, where do we want to start first? Let's go right through here. So you just tap this in. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just put it on there. As Bob Ross always said, we don't make mistakes. Bob Ross is pretty awesome. He might not have made mistakes, but I've had my share. Alrighty. So now with the same paint, I'm going to take a number 6 fan brush. I'm just going to dip in to that same color and make sure all the tips of the bristles are covered. And get enough paint on there. We're going to go ahead and put a nice old tree through here. So let's go right up through here. And then with the tip of the bristle or brush, we're just going to go ahead and add some leaves. So like in a Z formation, back and forth. Trying to do it so you can see it. Get some more paint. Big old tree. Take that all the way to the bottom. And let's go ahead and add another tree right up through here. What the heck? Let's do one more. Right through there. Now we gotta finish our trees. So let's go ahead and add some trunks. I'm going to use a little bit of Van Dyke Brown and yellow ochre. Mix them together. Add a little titanium white. And just take a little bit on the edge of the knife and just cut in right where you think a trunk should be. So let's go here. Just like that. Put another one on here. And need one for this little guy. There we go. So now with the palette knife, I'm going to take some blue and some yellow and mix the two together so we can do highlights. I like mixing my own green. You get more variations, you get to add the highlights any way you want. And if you get it variegated like that, kind of looks kind of neat sometimes too. Oops. Okay. So I dipped my brush into a little bit of the mineral spirits. So thin paint goes on a thick paint. So now we get to highlight the tree. So let's take a little cad yellow and a phthalo blue and mix it to a brighter green. It's that easy. I'm just dipping into the the paint, making it fly all over the place. Okay, so and just highlight it. Tapping in certain areas. Try to leave some of it exposed. You know, you don't want to hit all the dark spots. Same over here. A little bit. This little guy. Okay, now we're going to put some shrubs up here. So with a 1-inch brush, just going to get it just right. Just tap it in there. and then add some bushes. Just tap them in there. Pretty simple. And think of them as little bushes when you put them in, so they make sense. You could highlight them with some titanium white, you highlight them with yellow. Red. So grab a little bit more of the darker color, just add it right here to the bottom. So this is just some of the black that was on the canvas that was mixed with a little of the blue and stuff. We're just going to run this right through here. Then we're going to take the 2-inch brush, grab it about halfway up, and pull it down. You want to pull it down straight. We're just adding some reflection in the water. Lightly go across to blur it out. So now you can take the palette knife and the brown and black and just, you want to scrub in some land over here. With a little titanium white and some yellow ochre, we're just gonna, like we did up here on the mountains, we're just gonna go ahead and lightly go over top. Just let it catch just a little bit of it. I mean, it looks like dirt. And then back to the 1-inch brush. You can fix some of these shrubs up here. Go over top of the dirt a little bit. Make it look like they've been there forever. So now back to the palette knife, we're going to scrub in that water line again, right like we did up here, just through the bottom. Now sometimes when you pull the knife down while you're scrubbing it in, that helps for the effect for the water. It's kind of neat. I like it. looks like there's little waves crashing up against the ground right here and up against these little rocks. So now with the 1-inch brush, just going to dip it into the black. Now we're going to add some land over here. So let's just take this right in through here. Fill this all in. Just tapping. I think my easel likes this too much. It's having too much fun shaking back and forth. Alright. There we go. So if you keep a little looser right here, it gives it more of a natural effect. Looks like some shrubs. And back to the number 6 fan brush, we're going to put some more trees in here. So dipping it back into the black, the darker color. Let's go right up through here. Make that one a big one. So again, just back and forth. Kind of like a Z. Let's do another one right here. Not quite so big. Back to our yellow, ochre, and white. So we can do some tree trunks. Maybe a little brown. So you can see it. Okay. Do some more too. A couple up through there. Little trees everywhere. There we go. And back to the smaller fan brush and the yellow. Yellow and a little bit of the phthalo blue to make it green. We'll tap in some highlights here. This little guy. If you have an idea that you want to do, you don't have to do it exact like this. Just make it up any way you want. That's the better way. So just give you the idea how to actually do it all. And then you could create all your own stuff. Oh, the different brush, big round brush. This is a number 11. So anyway, we're just tapping it into white and a little bit of the green. We want to kind of spread these hairs in the brush. And let's go ahead and add some bushes. So just think about how it would look. Tap it in there appropriately. Kind of give it some highlights. And you don't want to cover up all this dark back here, because this actually helps give it depth. Add a little red. Make a few of these pop. Some darker green. Now, go back to the 1-inch brush. Get some highlights on there. More red. A little red over here. So with the knife, you can go ahead and type or scrub in some, or scrape in some branches. Really easy to do, makes it look like you spend days on this. If you want to see more tutorials like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for joining me.